This is Drew Golan, a talented Australian yacht captain who tragically lost his life while trying to defend his family. Drew worked on the multi-million-dollar yacht called Perseus and was not just an expert sailor, but a father and a devoted partner. On the evening of January 22nd, 2009, Drew, his partner, and their daughter were walking on Pigeon Point Main Road. Pigeon Point is an area located in English Harbour in Antigua. This is the location of one of the island's most beautiful beaches, a popular location for both locals and tourists alike. A van passes them. In this rental van was a group of friends who were spending the day driving around to different places, drinking, smoking, and having a good time. The van stops on the road and a man exited the van, approached Drew, his partner and child, attempting to snatch the woman's handbag. In the ensuing struggle, Drew was able to deter the supposed robbery by swinging and hitting the assailant in his head. The perpetrator then reached for his gun and fired 3 times at Drew Golan. He then returned to the van and the van drove off, leaving Drew, who was shot twice in the chest, on the ground, and his partner holding their child, screaming in terror. Drew Golan later succumbed to his injuries after being transported to the Halberton Hospital. The murder shocked the local community and the international yachting world. Antigua, heavily reliant on tourism, faced scrutiny over the safety of its visitors. Following an intensive investigation, Antigua police arrested 21-year-old Sylvester Extol Lindsay from Potters Village. He was charged with Drew's murder after a .32 caliber pistol believed to be the murder weapon was recovered. Lindsay, who initially pleaded not guilty, eventually changed his plea to guilty after the evidence and witnesses were presented. 2 females who were with Sylvester Lindsay that evening, one being his girlfriend at the time, testified that they saw the altercation between Drew Golan and Sylvester Lindsay. Another witness called was a cousin of Sylvester, who stated that on the 23rd of January 2009, which is the following day, that Sylvester had told him what happened the night before and even had shown him the bump on his head where he was apparently hit by Drew Golan. During the social inquiry, the defendant states that during the joyride that day, a decision was made to commit a robbery. However, after the victim became defensive, he was shot. Sylvester Lindsay was said to be extremely remorseful and regrets his actions, struggling to cope with constant memories of his actions and the fact that he took another human's life. Growing up, Lindsay is said to have had a difficult childhood. He has never met his father. He was neglected by his mother, who was financially unable to provide for her children. Mr. Lindsay was raised by his grandmother. He also did not complete his secondary education. He spent several months at the boys' training school, where he was described as respectful with good potential for reform. He has also won public speaking contests, both locally and regionally, while at the training school. Lindsay was subsequently convicted and sentenced to 22 years of imprisonment for the murder of Drew Golan. The judge described the murder as cold-blooded and brutal, underscoring the senselessness of the act. Drew Golan was described as a loving family man and the life of the party. In the wake of Drew's death, along with a Facebook group created in memory of Drew Golan, the yachting community rallied together, raising funds for his daughters and called for the increased security measures in the area. We remember Drew not just as a victim, but as a father, a partner, and a skilled sailor whose life was taken too soon.